Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you another Jimvitational 2 matchup. This is a round 2 showdown between Endill and Mako. Both these players are from Chile, so we got a bit of a national showdown here. Endill had to beat Mako to get to winners round 2, whereas Mako had to beat M-Dragon. That being said though, let's jump right into this. Zap lead, Skarm lead. Favorite for Endill here. Mako has to switch out right away. Endill roars out, forces the Skarm back out, and Mako's going to go Jolteon again, not caring about possible T-Wave. However, Mako is going to get the T-Wave off on Zapdos, but Endill gets the Toxic off. So both these players trade status on their Electrics. Metagross is brought out here, blocks the Toxic, goes back out to Jolteon, trying to force the Zapdos out. Magneton is brought out as the meta response. Blissey is brought out, Jolt's going to BPO. Skarm's going to at least get one layer off. Mag's brought out, gets rid of Skarm right away. Follow-up's going to be Salamence here. Salamence here, clicks Fire Blast, crits the Skarm. Skarm normally lives that, but even then, Endill will have no chance of getting a layer up. Meta is brought out, we got a lot of pivoting going around here. Swampert's brought out, Meta won't want to stay in on this. Gengar's brought out as the hurt check, probably scouting for EQ, but Endill opts to mid-ground with Ice Beam. Zapdos is brought out, trying to scout the HP Grass or Giga Drain, instead gets hit with an Ice Punch, a crit note nonetheless. Blissey is brought out here, that's going to blank Gengar unless Gengar clicks Boom or has like Focus Punch or something. Meta is brought out, Zap is brought back out here. And Pert is going to be swapped out to check the Metagross. That Meteor Mash does 20%, not bad damage by any means. Zapdos is brought out on the EQ. That buds. Mashes again. Gets a Mash Raise here. However, the crit T-Bolt here is going to put Mako in real danger. Mako opting to just explode, get whatever value she can get. Magneton is brought out as Mence comes in. Arrow is brought out as the mixed Mence check, but that's not really a check as it takes 30%. Jolteon's going to take a hefty 89% from the Rock Slide here. And Mag's brought out, Jolt BP's out here. And Salamence is brought out. Salamence is going to just click buttons all day. And Fire Blast is going to do 58% on a crit. And the Jolt is going to go down. As for what Mako's last could be something like a Suicune. Wouldn't surprise me on this kind of team, because like you need to have like a Swampert check of some kind. Mag's gonna go down here. Arrow is brought out, going to revenge kill the Salamence here. Gengar is brought out. However, Endill has to be careful here, as not all Rock Slides are guaranteed to kill Gengar from that range. That Gengar could be bulked out. That Ice Punch does 8%. Blissey is forced to switch out here as it's frozen. Pert's brought back out, eats the Ice Punch here like a champ. Mako's gonna get this Will-O-Wisp off, and Endill just Ice Beaming, just trying to get some guaranteed value, try to work for that Aerodactyl endgame right there, trying to make sure that Rock Slide will kill. However, this Pert is going to be nearly dead here, and Suicune is in fact the last here. And if this is, I wonder what this Suicune set is. Sub is shown. That is a set that Endill does not want to see here. Endill is in a really bad spot unless and only if the Blissey has Calm Mind here. That's the only way Endill is getting out of this, because if this is tossed, then like this Suicune is just going to set up on it all day, especially with no sand to wear either player down. And yeah, if you have it, now's the time. Okay, there is CM in fact. Is going to come down to a few things. It's going to come down to crits, and that T-Bolt is going to do enough to break the sub for now, as Endill did get prior damage with the Swampert before going to Blissey. And yeah, this is really just a race against time from the looks of it. Mako could try to... I don't think Mako will be quite able to stall out the Thunderbolts unless... And she doesn't have Rest because, again, not Rest, but Roar. If this Suicune had Roar, then she should have shown it ages ago, and the game would have been really, really bad for Endill. But Endill is chilling for now. Right now, what he needs to focus on doing is just making sure he does not get crit, or just trying to dodge any crit opportunities, trying to minimize the Suicune from doing too much nonsense. And this Suicune will at least get one more sub up, guaranteed. This Suicune is now at max. And Mako clicking Ice Beam here, so is Surf Ice Beam sub CM, so trying to fish for a freeze here on this Blissey. And this T-Bolt does not quite break. However, Endill will break this sub, and Suicune will no longer be able to sub up. Ice Beam, no freeze, and crit just because why not. But anyways, yeah, so the Gengar is brought out. I don't think Mako... Ooh, okay, now, never mind. As I was saying that, now there's kind of a sort of chance, like, Mako needs to string together multiple critical hits in order to even have a chance of breaking this Blissey, because as you can see right now, it's doing 4 or 5%. That's not enough to out-damage leftovers, and Endill has so many chances of just falling out. Like, yeah, Mako's gonna need a miracle, and that Gengar's gonna go down. Endill will survive this game 1, and he will go up 1-0 in this best of 3. Like I said, neither player at risk of being eliminated, but whoever wins this will skip straight to round 4, and the less rounds played, the better odds you have of winning this bad boy. We have game 2 now here. We have Tar versus Skarm. Tar taunts the Skarmory here, so Endo Skarm will not be able to get spikes off. I wonder if this is like taunt DD. Actually, no, if it was taunt DD Tar, then Mako would have probably DD'd by now, but Mako's just going to taunt again, and Endo is going to go into Swampert, which will comfortably answer this Tyranitar, especially when it's a T-Tar without anything like, you know, like Toxic. I mean, yeah, I wonder if it's Taunt Toxic, that'd be a cool set. Endo only showing Skarmory doesn't tell us a whole lot. This Hydro Pump does over half, and Mako is forced to switch out. And that is 2 Hydro Pump PPs burnt. However, this Celebi could be a huge threat. Mako Leech Seeds here, that's a really nice mid-ground. And this T-Tar on Endo's end won't do a whole lot. And Endo shows, I believe that's either HP Bug. Yeah, that looks like HP Bug Tyranitar, as Mako's lead Tar will go down. Skarm will get spikes up on Mako's end, and Endo should be able to get spikes up as well. So yeah, both these players look like they're comfortable. Okay, no, so Endo showing Taunt Skarm there, so Endo was not too sure about what speed Mako's Skarm was. And Taunt Skarm's usually nice for limiting up layers in the Skarm mirror. And Jolt is the Volt switch here, which is interesting. Yeah, this looks like Big 5 Molt from Mako, which is like, you know, Big 5, you can't really go wrong with Big 5, to be honest. Like, it's proven, tried and proven, and that Jolteon's T-Bolt won't do enough to take out the Skarm, but Skarm is incredibly low, but we've seen how resilient Skarm can be. Gar is shown as the second spike immune on Endo's squad, and Giga Drain is shown, so Mako realizing that her perk cannot stay in. Celery is brought out. The Onion avoids the Will-O-Wisp. Anyways, Skarm is brought out here, and that's a free Leech Seed for Mako. And yeah, it looks like Endo's team does not have great methods of dealing with Leech Seed specifically. Like, you know, Leech Seed is such a powerful progress maker in ADV, especially on Celebi too. And Endo will get all 3 layers up before the Skarm goes down, and Aerodactyl is shown to be the last on this. And Jirachi is shown here, so no, it is not Big 5, but it is some kind of balance, and Endo's going to use the Jolt as a spike sack to prevent the Jirachi from subbing up or do any potential nonsense, you know. EQ FUD strained to Skarmory here, and Focus Punch is ripped up, and the Skarm will go down, so both players' Skarms are down. It is a 4-4 game. However, Endo does not exactly have a great switch into Swampert right now, and luckily dodges that Hydro Pump here. protect here. You know, both players trying to play around the hydro pumps, or like just trying to play around torrent range specifically. Like this is always such an interesting dynamic in the Swampert on Swampert here. EQs here. Both players at roughly 60%. Celebi is brought out here. Endill is going to click Hydro Pump, but that's going to bud straight into Celebi. This Celebi is actually kind of a problem for her Endill, not gonna lie, but Arrow will take this, luckily. Jirachi is brought out here, and that's neutral damage. That looks like HP Bug, and HP Bug will finish off the Jirachi, but that means a free entry from Moltres. Moltres will be able to click Will-O-Wisp here. I like Mako's odds a little bit more in this game, and that looks like an HP Grass. But straight into Gengar. Gengar will get the T-Bolt off, deal significant damage, and this Overheat will do a lot to this defensive Gengar, and the Sand will do it in. And Jirachi is used as a Spike Sack for Mako, and this Swampert is brought out. It'll probably protect once here to stay out of Double Edge range. Or no, I guess not. Mako must be fairly confident. And I believe it shows Endill's perk being faster, so that's why Mako had to protect there. Celebi is brought out here. The pump misses. I don't know if that would have done enough, but it would have at least put Celebi in an awkward spot. But Mako will get the Giga Drain off. Giga Drain's a pretty free click here. And then, you know, you got all 3 layers of spikes up. Both these players have to be real careful here. And Moltres here will probably get a free HP Grass click off here. And yeah, what do you know? That exactly happens. Card is brought out, and it will go down. The question now will be whether Double Edge can actually take out the Swampert. And Moltres goes down. I think Mako's gonna need to string a couple of... Okay, she's gonna need at least 1 Protect, maybe 2 Protects here. Because I think Double Edge does around that 40% range. No, it's... Okay, yeah. Mako's perk survives. And Mako is going to tie it up. And it is 1-1, so we will be going to a game 3. Here we go. Game 3, Mets, Tarly. Not exactly favorite, pretty neutral lead matchup here. And both players are going to swap out turn 1. Zapdos on Scar. Mako does not want to see that. But Mako's just going to get the spike up, hoping that it was not Modest Zap. Anyway, spikes are traded up. And both these players are just going to let the layers fly. And, oh, nice roar there from Endill to get more information on Mako's team. Fire Punch burns the Skarm. That's unfortunate. So this Skarm is permanently on a timer. Mako off to a nice early start here. However, both players will get all 3 layers of spikes up. 3 pokes revealed, and Mako will get the Toxic off on this Zapdos. And we all know how much of a cockroach Skarm can be, like surviving low percents. Like it always just gets so much health back from just protecting, you know, just entry points, all that great stuff. Swampert's brought out here, trying to make sure the Zapdos eats more toxic damage, as Endo's Zap is on a timer. 5 pokes revealed for Mako, whereas Endo still has 3 unrevealed in the back. And this Swampert is going to protect here, blocks the roar, and gets the Toxic off on the Pert. Interesting decision from Mako to stay in with the Pert, especially when the Pert looks like it's probably got the task to like handle multiple things on a team. I mean, unless you know, Mako has like fresh Pert on this, which could be a possibility, but I don't think this team's matchup against you know, Toxic Jirachi is that bad. Anyways, Jirachi's brought out, scouts out the HP Grass from the looks of it. Salamence is brought out here, and Mako showing a Wish Jirachi. Fire Blast misses there, so, but Toxic also misses. So both players catching a big break. And Endill is just going to stay in here, and this Fire Blast will only do 49%. That is pitiful damage. Refreshment is shown here. So yeah, no, this looks a lot more mad. So yeah, that explains why Endill stayed in there, if he's okay with just eating that Toxic up. However, you only have so much Fire Blast PP to work with here. And refreshes again here, Toxics again, because even if you refresh, the thing is, unless you have a Wish Passer in the back, you're guaranteed to make progress with Toxic. So we gotta keep that in mind, folks. And again, this is a 6-5 game in Mako's favor. Mako going to Fire Punch here, and the Wish comes up. Endo's kind of in a weird spot right now because I'm not sure how you're breaking past this Jirachi is my main question. Pert is brought out. Maybe this is Refresh Pert, not sure. Only one way to find out. And Surf is shown, so this being Mono Pert is highly likely. So Endo's game plan now looks like he could just comfortably stall out the... It is in fact Mono Pert, but as I was saying, Endill could just comfortably stall out all the Toxic PP from Jirachi because Jirachi's already used quite a few Toxics too. But this team's got some nice longevity here. Gengar is brought out. And Gengar here could be showing, okay, does not have Grass move. I was gonna say it could show Grass move, but Endill probably comfortable with not dealing with that. Taunt is shown. So again, this Pert will not be able to get rid of the burn anytime soon. However, Mence is brought back out. And nice snipe there from Endill. Just being able to hide the fact that it is not Mono Pert. So that's actually a really nice lure because Refresh Pert usually only runs Surf as an attacking move. So that's why Mako went Mence there, and Endill took advantage of that and burned her on that play. And the Tar on Mako's end is forced to switch out. And this Jirachi is not a... Okay, yeah, that looks like a Lum Tar here. So this might be like DD Focus Tar. And yeah, no, Endill's turned this game around in his favor. And things could not look any worse for Mako right now. And again, this Pert will not be able to eat a HP, or will barely survive, but the Toxic damage is here to stay. Jirachi shown to be Endill's last. Gengar is brought out here. And HP Grass is shown on Endill's Rachi. Pert is brought back out. And Destiny Bond is shown. So Endill probably just swapped in there trying to expect a Will-O-Wisp, but either way, yeah, Endill's in the driver's seat right now, and this looks very hard for Mako to come back. Question is, does this Tar have HP Grass? And no, it's just going to show Crunch, and Torrent Boosted Surf will take out this Tyranitar. So yeah, now Endill is firmly in the driver's seat. And Jirachi is brought out here. T-Bolt is shown. Wish from Jirachi. So some kind of bulky CM Wish Jirachi perhaps. Yeah, so it is Wish free attacks. And Fire Punch Burn will mean that the Gengar is on a timer, and Mako is going to concede early. So Endill wins this set 2-1. And very nice game free there from Endill, like just being able to lure the Salamence to come in and just letting the Ice Beam rip. And again, very nicely played. Very, very nice set to watch. That being said though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating to add to Jimvitational 2's prize pool. That being said though, I will see you guys next time.